The helmet was not looked at as a medical device in any way. It was just another piece of equipment. As a neurosurgeon, one of the things I've been interested in my career is looking at, could there be better technologies applied to potentially mitigate concussion? As we were doing the sideline work for the Seahawks a number of years ago, there was a moment for me where a player had a helmet and he was mad or something. He just dropped it on the ground and it made this thud like you were dropping a brick. And it just kind of struck me that the evolution of helmets had gone from leather to really the current state where they were at, and it felt kind of static. At the time, there was so much attention on concussion. It was in the New York Times every single day, these emerging concerns for CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, were becoming more pronounced. And you started to see that around kids' involvement in sports. There was a period of time where any type of contact sports were getting a look in whether or not, kids should even participate. As a pediatric neurosurgeon, I may touch 10,000 lives in my career. But if I come up with a device or I have some idea that then makes it out and translates to patient care, you can touch and impact millions and millions of people. So one of the amazing things about being at the University of Washington and the UW Medicine is there is a very real infrastructure to allow ideation to move forward. And so I called the chair of mechanical engineering up. Dr. Reinhall invited me to his office. I broke out a sketch, which I still love to show. It's like a third grade drawing of some ideas for a new helmet. We knew that when the head was hit and the brain would spin inside of the skull a little bit, that created forces that led to concussion. And so the idea was, could you come up with materials that would mitigate those forces? We literally started out with little inserts that we were trying to test and drop test to see how the forces were changed. So it was a very sequential, stepwise process, looking and testing to get the end result that we were looking for. We repositioned the helmet as a piece of medical equipment with the idea that brain health is extraordinarily important, and we want the players to play long careers, play safely, and not have any long-term brain issues from their years of play. When we first came to market, the very initial helmet was light years ahead of any of the competition. It was the first helmet that was #1 listed by the NFL on their testing. Many of these things actually became Time Magazine Inventions of the Year. There were 3 of those awards that came out of this work. Patrick Mahomes wore the helmet in the Super Bowl. But really one of the most powerful things for me was to see my local high school bring these helmets onto the field. A lot of the kids in my community were wearing it. And these are kids that I knew, families that I knew. And the idea that, we were making it safer for their kids to be able to participate in these sports was a really powerful, life-changing, meaningful experience for me. I have really seen that there's an ability to impact the world at a different scale by taking ideas and then bringing them to market. Being a researcher and thinking about translation of ideas to solutions is very, very powerful. Research is fundamentally important. It's the way that change happens in medicine and society. The world needs UW Medicine. The world needs the University of Washington. This is where ideas become reality.